What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Endless. I'm here to bring you week 3 of Draft Jam. First off, I'm gonna go into last week's results. So real quick, for week 2, we were up against Mr. TJP, a friend of mine. I've known him from some leagues such as LET and his league MDL. He has a very scary Sun team, and we were in control for a lot of the game after a really rocky start. Unfortunately, at the end, Venusaur did crit my AV Conkeldurr with a Solar Beam that never would have knocked me out otherwise, allowing it to sweep my team, taking us to a 2-0 loss. That brings our record down to 1-1 plus 1. We could have been 2-0 plus 6, but that's how the game goes. So that was the unfortunate loss, and it means we're really going to win this week to get back into the competition. But we do not have an easy opponent. We are playing against Glop, in my opinion, the best player in the league, one of the best players in draft in general. He is like a top 2 player in Sword and Shield probably, and very, very good in Scarlet and Violet and Ultra Moon as well. On top of that, he is probably the best draft in the league. A ton of threats that are going to be really hard to deal with, and that synergize really well with each other. This team is going to be monstrous. It's going to be very difficult to take down. So starting to go into the matchup, here's Iron Bundle. I don't know how this lasted 16th pick. It's like the only good speed mod on the board, but the only good like ultra speed mod on the board. So this thing is a huge threat. Yes, I do have okay switches to it with Screamtail, Conkeldurr, Petron, and Araquanid, but it can just queen up in the late game. It's very good at doing that. Also, it being able to run Encore does limit my ability to set up my Pokemon. Then we've got Lando T. I mean, it's the king of singles for a reason. I have a Donphan, I have a Scarm, but Donphan's probably my best trick because realistically, it probably runs Smackdown or Gravity to hit the Scarm. And Lando's just really annoying because it also kind of slows down some of my offense. It's one of his better responses to Heart Flame. It's not a great one, but Gain Day Intimidate also really big. Then we have Gomora here. I mean, it's Gomora. Its hazards are terrifying. It necessitates me a big spin Donphan. I don't have a choice into Gomora. It's also very strong offensively into me. Rock plus Poison is me really hard. It can Energy Ball a Donphan. Just very frustrating Pokemon addition. It can spin if I go for a hazard stack route, which is important to note. And since I'm not, since nearby Steel types have amazing matchups here, it can get there pretty freely. Fourth, we have this Scissor. Very good Pokemon, obviously. It can U-turn around. I think if it comes, it could even be a Scarf set potentially, or just Bandit, just quick like U-turn over and over. I don't think it's the most likely here because of stuff like Heart Flame or Shifu Rapid Strike, but I definitely think it's a viable bring, especially if he's worried about my Zoroark or my Screamtail. Keldeo is a huge threat. Like Iron Bundle, I don't have the best switches to water type attacks. It's pretty much just Araquanid, and the combination of those two can wear that Pokemon down really fast. It also has the opportunity to set up Calm Minds, which is very frustrating, and if I'm not packing Encore on one of my 110 plus speed mons, it can get out of hand very quickly. Terracerage is a gigantic threat. I mean, it's probably one of the better Terra Captains legal, and I have okay checks to it, actually. I have like Donphan. Actually, that's about it. I have Donphan, which is not a bad check to it. Seishu is not Seishu. Petron's not bad if I don't run an item because he can't hit me a Poltergeist. I don't think he would think to run Shadow Claw. So Petron isn't the worst check, but obviously like it being able to Terra makes it a lot harder to deal with. I think if it comes to Terra, I think Grass is very likely because that'll resist Aqua Jet, and also thanks to Flash Fire, it'll be thanks to Flash Fire, Glop can run Ability Shield on it, and Ability Shield with Flash Fire does negate Ogerpon's Moldbreaker, meaning it will be immune to Ivy Cudgel and resist Power Whip. So I think Terra Grass Surge is a very good bring here. Then we have our Chaladon, a gigantic tank. If I let it start getting stamina boosts and get half hand really quickly because my special offense is not that amazing. Outside like Zoroark really. Also gets rocks, which could be frustrating. It's just a really dangerous lead as well. You can just lead off and just like start clicking buttons and rocks and be really frustrating. Mandibuzz is coming. This is obviously the Pokemon I'm the most worried about in this matchup. Mandibuzz is insanely difficult for me to break down. With like Foul Play, Defog, U-turn, whatever, it's just really hard for me to answer. I think it's likely to go around Covert Cloak in this matchup, is that way it can't be Malignant Chain Poison by Petron. And it's also slower than Petron, so Petron parting shots out first on the Mandibuzz, meaning that Mandibuzz can always get U-turn momentum after I try a parting shot out. This Mandibuzz is going to be very difficult for me to handle, and I'm going to need some creative prep to be able to wear it down. Then we have Cresselia. I mean, Terra Crest is always scary. It could be a lot of types here. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to bring for typing, but it could be a lot of types here. The bulk is obviously very frustrating. I do have my Encore Monster species if it's a Calm Mind set, but there are obviously other sets outside Calm Mind. That's obviously the flagship set on Terra Crest. So we'll see if it comes and what it brings. And then Florges, I don't think Florges comes. I don't think it's great here. Of course, with Terra, it can always do something, but I'm not sure what it would want to do with that Terra. Yeah, I'm genuinely not sure what type it would Terra into. I don't think it comes. I think he has some better things he can be doing. Going into my team real quick. So Petront looks fantastic here, as it has pretty much every week. This Pokemon is great. Outside the Landorus, not a ton super friends, especially if I run specially defensive again. And as I mentioned earlier, if I run no item, say Saroj can't really frighten either. Urshifu looks pretty solid here. Water Resists are all smacked really hard by close combat. It's possible Glop will have to burn his Terra to handle it, and that would be a big benefit for me. Heartflame is pretty solid here, as always. You just have to watch out for abilities to Sarrow Edge. Donphan is going to be very important. It is my way to remove his rocks. It is my way to check Lando and a second Sarrow Edge check. And maybe even Scizor if I need it to. Donphan is very important here. I also need it so I can spin away Gilmore's hazards. Zoroark for again looks really good. This Pokemon's really impressed me so far. His switches to ghost type attacks are not good. It's just a Mandibuzz. I can run a Terra that can take advantage of that, smack it really hard. Araquid's not bad here as a check to Keldeo and Iron Bundle. I just have to worry about, I have to be careful about Keldeo staying up on it. In terms of our Pokemon, Screamtail's not bad here actually. The one worry is the dual priority hits it super effectively, but it's definitely a viable bring to Encore his setup threats and just make progress. It can get rocks up pretty easily. The one issue is Scizor can defog, but I could run like a Babiri set with like a fire move to try and prevent it from defogging. And like a fairy move to hit Mandibuzz. But fairy moves don't do that much to Mandibuzz because Screamtail's offenses are so pitifully low, which would make it pretty hard to 2-hit kill the Mandibuzz and prevent it from defogging. Skarmory's terrible. It's still a bad Pokemon. I still hate it. I want to get rid of it, but I kind of need to keep it. There's like no freaking spikers available. And I do, well, I have Heartflame. You know what? Honestly, I really want to get rid of Skarm. I don't know if there's any other ground abilities either. Metagross isn't bad here, but it's not great either. It's kind of prone to a lot of things. If it comes, I mean, I don't know why I'd even bring on it. Maybe Scarf. I don't know. It doesn't feel great. And Conk is pretty solid here. AV, obviously, is switching to a special threats pretty well. Can take on Scizor to an extent. Conk is definitely pretty solid here at just a bulky piece. So let's get into the team. First up, we are once again bringing special events to Petront, coming back from week 1. I'm going to close this before we get any freaking ads. We have a pretty 7% Malignant Chain, Recover again, Parting Shot, Shallow Ball this time. Sped is just really good. This thing isn't easily 2-hit KO'd by a bundle or Keldeo sets except Specs, and even that can kind of recover off on them until they miss a Hydro Pump potentially, or just Parting Shot and get back in and recover on something else. No item because the Sarrow Edge is very scary. I want to be immune to Poltergeist, and even with without investment, my natural defense is so high that I take Bitter Blades very well, even like +2. Doesn't 2-hit KO me if I remember the calcs correctly, unless it's like Terrifier, of course. Yeah, it's just a pretty basic patch set. You know, it's what Petront does, but Spev is very hard for him to break down here. Next, we have Urshifu. Terra Water is my Terra of choice this week. His Water Resists are not great, and just Terra Water allows me to pick up those 2-hit KOs on Mandibuzz and non-Terra Crest if I need to. Surge Strike does a ton of damage. Obviously, Crest or Mandibuzz keys would be Helmet, so I'm running Punching Glove to cover that. Also gives Surging Strikes a little bit of power boost, so with the Water Stab, with the Water Terra and the Punching Glove, it does 2-hit KO most Crest and Mandibuzz variants. Close Combat to hit Shred Challenge on stuff. Jet is just here in case I'm worried about, like, Sarrow Edge getting boosted speed. I didn't really need a 4th move. Taunts here, just it's nice to keep a Crest and Mandibuzz from healing up on me, forcing them to attack. I can just smack them and get them low. Next, we have a pretty interesting Donphan set. Nothing too crazy outside the Earth Power, but Earth Power is very important this week. It doesn't proc Gilmore's. It does a lot of things. It hits Bundle a lot harder than Earthquake if that comes up. It does not proc Gilmore's Toxic Debris, which is very big, so it doesn't force Petront early to absorb them. It doesn't proc Weak Armor on Sarrow Edge, so Sarrow Edge is a bit harder to set up on me if it doesn't Terra. And it doesn't proc Archalon's Stamina. In fact, with Archalon's will special events, it can maybe 3-hit KO depending on his spread. It's in 2-hit KO if he's like really not a bulk, but he's gas a bulk. So yeah, it's pretty good here. Rocks are very important. Chip down Bundle, chip down Sarrow Edge, etc. I will say I did roll off it knockoff on this set in case Mandibuzz is boot, so I get rid of that, or I can get rid of a potential Covert Cloak to open up Petront. But I just couldn't fit it. I need to respect Landorus. I need to bring Ice Spinner here. Even if it doesn't do that much, free killing the Landorus is probably good enough. Next up, we have Heartflame. We'll have our pre-round offensive threats. Pretty basic set again. Ivy Cudgel, Trailblaze hits the whole team. Fire hits this team insanely hard. Outside the Glimora, the only real fire resists are Sarrow Edge and Keldeo. Trailblaze smacks the Keldeo for very good damage. And I mean, if he's like a Terra that resists grass, it was like Ability Shield, Sarrow Edge, fair enough. I can't do much about it. Swords Dance allows me to break. Swords Dance allows me to break down the Crest and the Mandibuzz better. And then Encore is very important. Encore is my insurance into Calm Mind Keldeo. Calm Mind Keldeo is very scary. You'll notice I'm not bringing Screamtail, so obviously I have to pivot into this offensively. It's difficult, but I can maybe do it with Petront. And then I can Encore this thing in and just then I get free speed boost and Trailblaze as well. It's just a necessary move. It also helps with Crest a bit. It's just real important in this matchup to have Encore on something. I didn't like Screamtail's matchup, so I thought I'm going to bring out Ogrepon. Next, we have a Scarf Zoroark for a second week in a row. Shadow Ball, Hyper Voice, Terra Blast, and Focus Blast. This Zoroark is Terra Electric. So Electric is very nice. It allows me to hit the Mana Buzz, which is the main thing I really needed to do. But I also have a few times I could have gone Fairy, I could have gone Ice, I could have gone Rock. But Electric also allows me to hit Keldeo, to hit Iron Bundle, and to resist Scissor's Bullet Punch if that is relevant. Electric is decently spellable to this team. There is Landorus, but that's the only thing that really wants to come in. It doesn't like taking my stab moves. Our Challenge doesn't love taking Shadow Balls. So Terra Electric is just really strong as Zoroark. It can just click buttons. It's mostly like my lead here. It's very easy to just lead and get off huge damage on something, make progress early on. And yeah, I'm real happy with the Zoroark this week. It has a little bit of bulk because I am creeping the Keldeo. It doesn't really matter. And yeah, Ogrepon also has that bulk. Doesn't really matter. It's probably not going to come up, but maybe it'll help me with a Bullet Punch or something. There's Sheep also a bit of bulk. I don't think there are any cocks that matter before, though. Lastly, we have Assault Vest, Spidef, Araquanid with Surf, Endeavor, Mirror Coat, and Giga Drain. So with this Araquanid, Giga Drain is here to do decent damage to Iron Bundle. It should free a KO, and it hits Keldeo for a little bit as well. Surf is just the mandatory stab move. I need water coverage here so I can hit the Lando. I can't let it start staying up on me. Also, it's the Cerulege, and Endeavor and Mirror Coat. Mirror Coat's pretty basic. If a Bundle doesn't scout for it, he can freeze right into it. I can knock him out. And then Endeavor's just if I get low and something can't knock me out, I can bring it down really well to Revenge later. I will say, I also want to mention I'm War Absorb this week, so Bundle and Keldeo cannot flip turn on me. I'm really worried about those two just flipping around, racking up hazard chip, racking up hazard chip. So War Absorb is nice. I didn't think I really needed the War Bubble. I have okay Cerulege answers already, and also like this team my War Bubbles aren't getting hit that hard anyway, especially with Araquanid. I mean, or Chalanon. So yeah, nothing too crazy. Just like I think some pretty effective prep. We got the no item Petrorunt, basic bitch Urshifu with Taunt, Earth Power Donphan, Encore Swords Dance, Trailblaze Ogrepon, Scarf Terra Electric Zoroark, and the AV Araquanid. With that said, that's the full team. Let's get into the battle. So here we are with the battle versus Glop. I was very nervous going into this, but I'm just gonna do my best and we'll see what happens. Obviously, I know what happened already, but I was very nervous going in. Glop is, again, one of the strongest opponents I've ever faced, and I'm going to need to play on my A game if I'm going to win this game. Thank you to Ducky and Horizon for letting us use their comp. We had some issues on our end with the competition. Unfortunately, it did end up having a 60-minute timer, which is going to be like somewhat relevant because this is going to be a very long game. Just give you all a warning in advance. This is a very long, very positioning-heavy game, so strap in. It's going to be a good one. As always, we're going to pause on team preview. First up, for the Terras, we see Terra Grass Crest and no Cerulege or Forges. I'm very happy not to see Cerulege. Cerulege was terrifying in prep. It can get out of hand very easily. It's also a really good Ogremon check if it's throwing Ability Shield. So I'm very happy not to see that. Terra Grass Crest is interesting. Not necessarily the type I was expecting. It makes sense, though. It allows it to do the Mind Games over Shivu pretty well, which is important. But I think I don't really love it because it makes me weak to Malignant Chain, and Petron can take advantage of that, especially since I'm a especially defensive set and won't take too much damage from Psychic. As for the rest of this team, we see both waters. Makes sense. The Mandibuzz, which I knew was coming, I knew was going to be a giant freaking problem. Then we see the Glimmora, which will likely be his lead, and we see the Archaludon. So no Lando, no Florges, no Cerulege. What was the last? And let me check the matchup real quick. What was the last Pokemon he's missing? No Lando, no Scizor, no Cerulege, and no Florges. Okay, that makes sense. Scizor wasn't amazing to me. It kind of is just here to like maybe force out Screamtail and quick U-turn. So I understand it not coming. Thought Lando wasn't bad here, but I get why he's not here with my Wars and stuff like that. So in this moment, I'm thinking, okay, Glimora's here is likely going to be the lead. It doesn't have to be, but it's likely going to be the lead. However, he could easily call me Wing Donphan to try and prevent Glimmora from getting hazards, and we will have his water types as well. So I think Iron Bundle, Keldeo, and Glimmora are the likely leads. So I want to cover that. I don't want to lead Donphan because that is really risky if I let either of the Wars get off a huge attack on turn 1. However, what I do want to do is I do want to make it appear like I'm leading Donphan. So for that moment, for that purpose, I am going to lead with this Zoroark here. I'm just going to lead with Zoroark, disguised as Donphan, obviously locking the rest of the team. They just be writing it down as always. I always like to write down a physical notebook. I'm on like my 6th or 7th physical free subject notebook I've done for draft because I played this game way too fucking long. But yeah, I really like doing that. I find it makes it a lot easier for me to remember things, just physically write them down. As you can see, Donphan is in the 6th slot, so Zoroark will be disguised as it, at least at the start of the game. Glop has locked in his lead, so we are going to see what happens now. As always, we're on 1.5 speed. If this game, I might switch it to 2 times speed at some point, but I think it's fine. Just let it be long. So we still go more lead, as I am going to appear to lead Donphan. However, as you saw it on the team preview, I am actually leading Zoroark. So I'm just going to quick Shadow Ball turn 1, just get off a huge hand to something. If this Golden stays in, I can't do a ton of damage. Probably just going to quick a hazard. If it like Power Gems or Meteor Beams, that could be bad, but I think it's probably going to switch here. So Glop is just thinking what to do on this Donphan lead. And he is going to switch out. So I'm going to get a free Shadow Ball into something. And what is going to come in is the Cresselia. This is fantastic move. Shadow Ball allows me to do, I think about 50, a little over 50% of this Cresselia, getting a huge hit off on it early. However, I know Mandibuzz is coming in, so I do have to double here. Mandibuzz is a free coming in. They can just U-turn, so I don't want to let that come in for free. So for that purpose, I am just going to go out to, I don't remember what? Yeah, I just go out to Petrunt here, right? I mean, it's very cool. I do have a great Mandibuzz response. So I do just have to kind of find a way to chip it down over time. Also, something I forgot to mention in the team builder is that, if you can't believe I forgot to mention this team builder, I'll pause real quick. My Petrunt has a speed IV of 14 and a speed lowering nature. This allows it to outslow, I think it's minus speed Mandibuzz, which is relevant because I always want to use my parting shot after it U-turns. If Mandibuzz isn't running like lower IVs itself, I'll always go second, which is pretty relevant. I don't know, I forgot to mention that in team builder. It was like the coolest part of the Petrunt set. But anyway, I'm just going to parting shot here. Mandibuzz good. U-turn is outspeed me like I expect. My EV is paying off. Go do literally 6 damage. Very funny. In comes the Archalonize. I'm just going to parting shot out. Make it a bit less frightening, which is nice. I'm just going to my Donphan here. It's completely free rocks. Yeah, at -1, he's not that much of a threat to me. I do consider going Urshifu just to fire of a close combat, but I am deciding just to go into Donphan. This thing is saying, and in comes the Donphan. So now I can get my rocks for free here. And I believe that's what I'm going to do on this turn. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to really think about. Yeah, I'm just going to get my rocks. Might as well. I believe we're just actually going to trade our rocks this turn. Yep, Glop definitely takes I think. Which is fair. Stealth Rock goes up on his side, and mine is also going to go up. So that's rocks on both sides, but I do already have my remover in, so if I can get an opportunity, I can't just spin these away. I'm just going to spin immediately. Don't want these rocks to stay up. As a skill quick flash can. At -1, that's going to do around 30. Rapid spin will give you a stamina boost, but because I'm Earth Power, I don't care that much right now. I get rid of my rocks, so he can try and set these back up. But I am just going to Earth Power here, start getting some chip in. He's going to flash can again, bring Donphan pretty low. But I'm going to quick Earth Power. I will move an Earth Flash Can. This shows he has a ton of special defense investment. That Earth Power special defense drop is unfortunate. It means Donphan can do a ton more into it. It might even force it out. That special defense drop definitely is helpful, though. Albeit, this Archalon will be getting super low either way because an Earth Flash Can doesn't KO me from this range. So at minimum, it would be like around 20%. So I think it wouldn't be that much of a threat for the rest of the game. Since that's like in range of Petra and Shadow Ball and pretty much everything else on my team. I guess it wouldn't be a range of a Raccoon, that's the one thing, but yeah, just getting this thing low is really nice. It's going to body press Figgy on knockout, but I do live because of my physical defense investment, and I'll just take it down with that Earth Power. Our challenge is going to go down. No rocks on my side, rocks on his. That sequence went fantastically for me. I'm really happy with it. In the moment, I was very assassinated with it too. Our challenge going down is a gigantic threat, and me getting rocks up, which can chip everything down, such as the bundle and the Mandibuzz, both of which are very frustrating for my team to break through and deal with respectively, and deal with defensively. So yeah, and he doesn't get his rocks up here, which is good. Big Ogre Pond, very strong. It's also very important for Zoroark because I need to keep Zoroark out of range of Vacuum Wave from Keldeo for a potential endgame scenario. And rocks will put in that range if I think 3 switch-ins. So I do need to be careful about that. So having no rocks up is really, really helpful. In comes the Keldeo on my Donphan. I am just going to go out. Do I sack this here? No, I just go out to Araquanid, right? Araquanid is not super frightened by this. Even Air Slash won't do too much. In comes Araquanid. What's he gonna do? He just clicks Vacuum Wave to try and pick off my Donphan. He has to cover up for an Ice Shard. However, this Vacuum Wave does also reveal that he has choice specs, timid specs to be precise. So this means that I have to be careful where he's going to do a lot of damage, but I can play around him locking into a move, which is really appreciated. So then I do have immunities to both water and fighting on this build. I am debating really hard what to do here. I think I use Giga Drain though, or do I double? I might have doubled actually. This is a long game, so I'm not going to remember every turn. My apologies. It's a very long game. Anyway, he's going to switch out his Keldeo into the Mandibuzz. I'm going to bring out my Ogerpon. Since I know I usually take Vacuum Mechanics or a ton of offensive pressure, we see the Mandibuzz is not rocks, so this, in my mind, makes me think it's Covert Cloak take on the Petron, as I was predicting in prep. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be Covert Cloak since it's not taking rocks here. And I'm just going to go back at the Donphan, just sack it off here. Donphan is up, and Mandibuzz is just going to knock me out with a foul play. However, now I can bring in something to take advantage of this. I am going to go into Zoroark and just Terra Electric and fire a Terra Blast. Unfortunately, my Petron has to give me a chip, so if he's paying attention, he will know that I am the Zoroark here because Petron took a tiny bit of chip damage from that U-turn aura. So Petron is just, Zoroark's just going to Terra quick Terra Blast. Mandibuzz is going to switch out into Saya, which is the Glimmora. It's going to take rocks, and now my Zoroark, which looks like Petron, is going to Terra. It's always very funny when my Pokemon is in Zoroark Terras. Anyway, we're just going to fire out, do this here, and quick Terra Blast. Electric is very free into this team with our talent on them. And this is just going to be a clean 2-hit KO. This Glimmora is in range of another one. He doesn't really have a great switch in here either. So I will take it out here on the following turn with a Terra Blast. This means that you can't give spikes or anything. You can't click any big buttons with the Glimmora with its one very special attack. And I'm just going to knock it out here. So that puts me up 5-4. A pretty decent position now. I'm up 5-4. He has rocks on his side. I don't have rocks on mine. So my team will be staying healthy as we'll be getting chipped. He now has to find something he can bring in on this Petron. I believe he's just going to go Crest here because it's the only Pokemon not weak to Electric left. And he might have figured out I'm Scarf, honestly, based if his Glimmora was Scarf. I don't know what item it was. So it's very possible he now knows I'm a Scarf set, but it's not known yet. But he also probably intuited it just by the way I've been playing the Zoroark. Like with how I Shallow Ball on turn 1 and I doubled instead of clicking Terra Blast when I can Terra. Yeah. In comes the Cresselia. I believe I do switch here. Terra Blast does not KO. I don't want to take an attack if it Terras. Yeah, I'm just going to go out to... What do I go out to? I don't even remember. I think I just go out to Petron here, right? I'm not thinking it does a lot of damage to me. Yeah, let's go out to my specially defensive Petron. So in comes Petron as we do see the Moonlight Crest get back up very healthy. This does give me an opportunity to fire off a free Malignant Chain, though, and nothing really wants to take this hit, and everything takes the 50% risk of being poisoned. Cresselia is going to click Future Sight, so that's pretty dangerous. It's going to force me to bring in Araquanid frequently. Malignant Chain is going to do about 30%, so this Crest is very fat. I'm running no special attack investment. It likely has some speed F investment. I'm just going to quick it again, though. Crest is going to use its second Moonlight, so it is nice to keep track of. I didn't keep track of this game, but I will keep track of it now. Malignant Chain is going to do a lot less this time, though. Very interesting rolls. Petron is forced out into Araquanid. Araquanid is going to take a big Future Sight here. It will take it pretty well because of my Assault Vest and my Special Defense investment, but still, every bit of chip on Araquanid is worrying it. Opening up Keldeo and Iron Bundle in the end game very dangerously. Yeah, so he obviously knows I have to switch. It's pretty obvious I'm going to Petron here. Nothing else, not Petron, Araquanid, nothing else can really take a Future Sight very well. Araquanid's going to come in, and Cresselia's going to click its third Moonlight, so he has 5 left. He's going to go back up to full as Araquanid's going to take his Future Sight, doing not much, doing like 15%, but every bit of chip is going to add up on me. I believe I switch back onto Petron here. Yeah, I don't think I have a reason to stay. I can't do much to this thing anyway. This is a very passive Araquanid, say, unfortunately. Oh, no, I go hard into Zoroark. Wow, I did not remember. I guess that makes sense. If we think Crest is just going to be cooking Future Sight, this gives me an opportunity to fire off a gigantic attack. Unfortunately, Zoroark is no longer disguised. It's now the 6th man in my party. But I will just quick Shallow Ball here. It does click Future Sight, so I can fire off a huge attack here. If it does have another attacking move, I can just take advantage of it. And since I'm Terra Electric, I can't be Thunder Wave, which is a big issue with this Crest. Shallow Ball is going to do over 50. Crest is just going to Moonlight here. I am forced out by the Future Sight. However, this Crest has used half its Moonlights now. Slowly, it is going to run out. Araquanid comes back in. It's going to take another Future Sight. However, the sequence is... I'm taking Digital Araquanid, which isn't great, but I am draining all this Cresselia's ability to heal, which could open up something like Urshifu for the late game. So obviously, I'm forced out. I can't let Zoroark take this Future Sight. That's way too much damage. In comes the Araquanid as he is going to click Moonlight. So that's his 5th Moonlight, and that's kind of a waste of one. I guess he probably might stay in, but no, I can never let that Zoroark take the damage. He's going to get crit Future Sight. That's really rough. His Raccoon's going to be down about half now. Yeah, but he's got to show that he probably doesn't have any attacking moves. At least none that really he wants to click yet. So I'm going to go out to Zoroark here. Yeah, just continue exerting offensive pressure and continue forcing Crest to Moonlight. It's just 5 of them so far. Let's go quick Future Sight. And I'm just going to fire off a Shallow Ball. He does have a switch in. I can force the 6th Moonlight to come out. And then he's going to quick Moonlight number 6. He has just 2 of these remaining. I obviously have to go to Araquanid. Or I can go out to Ogerpon if I want to let the Ogerpon take the Future Sight. I think that's what I do because I'm getting worried about Araquanid taking too much damage at this point. So I think I do just go into Ogerpon here. Future Sight will hurt, but Ogerpon can do good damage into this. Yeah, I'm thinking about it for a while, and then I'm just going to go into Ogerpon. So Ogerpon is going to take a big hit here, which obviously isn't great, but I don't want my Araquanid to take too much chip, or else his water types will be very scary. He's going to switch, though, out into Mandibuzz. So Mandibuzz is down at about 50 now. Ogerpon is going to take the Future Sight, taking about 40% of his health, but I do think, I can just do a ton of damage. Ivy Cudgel gets it really low. If it tries to roost, I can Encore it. No, never mind. I'm misremembering. I just go out to my Petron, I guess. Yeah, I'm sorry about not remembering everything in this game, everyone. It's been a few days, and also this is a very long game. Anyway, man, I was going to quick defog, removing the rocks, and now I'm just going to parting shot out, probably. Yeah, because the outspeeds me with U-turns, that's fine. He's got a hard switch. I will say, the fact that he didn't quick U-turn should have set something off in my head that maybe there's a reason for that, but I didn't think about it in the moment. Petron's got a parting shot as the Keldeo comes out. And I believe I just go out to my Ogerpon to Fran it. Yeah, Ogerpon does live a vacuum wave for me, so I'm just going to quit Trailblaze. Trailblaze may knock out Keldeo, it might not, depending on the spread. I'm going to quick it, though. In comes the Mandibuzz, so I'm going to get up to +1 speed here. I believe I just fire off an Ivy Cudgel. No, I'm going to switch out to Petron again, I guess. Or maybe Urshifu, but I don't want to risk a Brave Bird, so probably Petron if I'm going into anything here. Oh, never mind. Just go Urshifu, calling the foul play. Or the U-turn. I guess that makes sense. It probably would have quick Brave Bird had it by now. So Urshifu's going to come in. Mammoth's going to foul play, do about, 20-ish%. And I'm just going to fire off a Surging Strikes here. Mammoth is going to switch out into Cresselia. Surging Strikes is going to do some chip. It reveals to be very physically defensive. On this turn, I'm just going to taunt. I don't want it to be able to heal up. He is down to 2 Moonlights as well, which is relevant. I'm just going to taunt here. Crest cannot click Moonlight. But he's going to click Future Sight this turn. Now, however, this will be, we'll keep, I'm going to Surging Strikes. However, I should have realized that it's a pretty obvious Terra here. Because he's taunted, he can't let his Crest get too low. Or because he can't recover up. So I should have just Close Combat here. The Terra was very obvious on the Cresselia on this turn. There was pretty much no reason not to. Terra, because Close Combat is Surging Strikes. Yes, he can't risk this Cresselia taking too much damage. And the fact that he's Terra Grass, I think he might have been Rocky Helmet. Obviously, because I'm Punching Glove, we won't see that. But I think he probably is Helmet. He does get Terra here, so obviously with this Surging Strikes very well because he's physically defensive in Terra Grass. So Close Combat probably is a better play, although it's a hard call to make because he didn't have to Terra. But it seemed likely in hindsight. Surging Strike's going to do a time of chip, bring this Crest below 50. And Crest is going to quick its last move, its third move. We haven't seen last move. We've seen Future Sight Moonlight so far. It's going to quick Grass Knot, knocking out my Urshifu. Kind of surprised to see Grass Knot over Energy Ball. I feel like Energy Ball is more reliable. Maybe the Grass Knot was for Metagross to hit harder. I'm not sure. So this thing is now scary, but I can just bring in my Ogerpon quick Ivy Cudgel into something. Fortunately, the Future Sight is also coming out this turn, so somebody's going to take a Gigantic hit here. I am just going to Cudgel. This does force him out, as he cannot risk losing his Cresselia yet. As it's the only thing that can take a Terra Electric Terra Blast from my Zoroark anymore. He's going to switch out, bring in the Mandibuzz. It's not going to take Rocks with Defog. Ivy Cudgel's just going to barely not knock it out. Orion's going to take the Future Sight. However, I can just knock out another Ivy Cudgel here. Actually, I think I'm going to Trailblaze because it's so low anyway. I might Ivy Cudgel just to cover a Crest switch. Yeah, I'm just going to Cudgel. But he reveals to be Scarf freaking Mandibuzz. So it wasn't Cloak at all. It was Scarf. It will take out my Ogerpon with the foul play. Ogerpon going down is annoying. It makes Crest a bit harder to deal with. I still have Answers Crest, but it makes it a lot harder to break long term. And also, it also is going to make Keldeo a bit harder to check. Because I can't just come in afterwards and Trailblaze it. Petron comes in. I can't just click Malignant Chain. He is just going to sack him so he goes down to rocks anyway. He's just going to stay in and foul play me again. Yeah, it's going to do some chip. Does a good chunk. More than I would have expected. I guess I am spit F, so fair enough. And Malignant Chain is going to knock out the Mandibus. So I am down to just 5 Malignant Chains now, which is going to be which could come up later. Obviously, there's like a Cresselia that can keep healing. I believe he goes into Keldeo here, if I recall correctly. I mean, it's like his only best play. Because Iron Bundle probably won't knock me out. Unless it's specs, but, you know. At least in his mind, he doesn't know. He does bring in the Keldeo. However, I'm not actually taking any special attacks yet, so I do know I'm out of range of anything, but I am just going to go into a Arachnid anyway. Actually, no, I think I was in range of Hydro Pump here, so no, I guess I wasn't. So I'm going to quick recover as he doubles. Into the Cresselia, expecting Arachnid to come in. I'm just going to recover here. Petron is back to full. I'm going to fire off my 4th Malignant Chain here. Obviously, the Crest outspeeds me, which at this point in the game, maybe my speed EVs were bad, because otherwise, if I was like just 0 speed, I would have outsped the Crest. I could have Malignant Chained it here. So the my speed heavies and my speed nature really is hurting me in the long term, because the Mandibus ended up being Scarf anyway, so it always would have U-turned first. So unfortunately, this is going to enable the Crest just Moonlight here, when I really could have just maybe knocked out with Malignant Chain otherwise, or at least gotten super well. He's going to double though into the Keldeo. As I'm just going to cook Malignant Chain, get off about 30%. That's 4 Malignant Chains, no poison. It's a 50% chance, so pretty unlucky there. I'm just going to quick it again. Keldeo's going to Hydro Pump, do a ton of damage to me, but it's not going to knock me out. I can Malignant Chain again. Get a crit here, but no poison, so this Keldeo is going to live on a little bit of health. So I've lost 5 coin flips now with this Petron. Crit helps, so I will admit the crit was good. In comes Arachnid as he locks into Hydro Pump. I will get some health back, maybe allowing me to take Future Sights better going forward, which is relevant. I don't want to risk him staying in quick Hydro Pump again, so I do a Giga Drain here. He can obviously go into like his Cresselia, but I can't really risk. Oh yeah, I'm gonna surf. Why would I ever surf here? That does. Giga Drain's always the play at this more to Keldeo, and like Crest taking no damage anyway, huh? That surf made no sense here. I don't know why I clicked that, but anyway, obviously he's forced to switch because he is locked into Hydro Pump here. Keldeo is go out, and in comes the Cresselia, very obviously. My Surf's going to do literally nothing to it, because I'm not even Water Bubble. And I have like base 52 or 42 special attack. I believe it, guys. Why did I stay in here? Why don't I just go Petron? That's so weird. I guess I just Giga Drain here, but yeah, I definitely should have just gone hard Petron. There's no reason not to. If you charge the Future Sight, I can always go back into this. Yeah, it's just giving me an opportunity to quick Moonlight for free. Why did I do that? Was I worried he would... I guess because Petron's low, I was worried he would double into one of his water types. But I can always just bring Arachnid back in. So yeah, this Giga Drain is a completely terrible play. I'll just admit that right now. This Giga Drain here was horrible. Like, it's not good. I don't think it's going to make the biggest difference long run, but it's definitely not, like, the correct play. I always should go Petron here. He does Future Sight. I'm just going to Giga Drain. I'm just going to do virtually nothing. Unfortunately, I'm forced to stay in here now because of the Future Sight, so I'm just going to keep cooking it. I healed literally 8 HP. It did 16 damage. Giga Drain again, and Crest is going to use his penultimate Moonlight. It has now used 7 of them. It can only heal up 1 more time. Arachnid is forced to stay in again just because I can't let anything else take the Future Sight. Crest is going to click Grass Knot, doing a very minuscule amount of damage. Giga Drain's going to come off, heal me a tiny bit again. And I'm going to take the Future Sight attack. That puts Arachnid at about 60%. This time I'm going to make the right play and just go out to Petron directly. Because I know if he goes out to a water type, I can just go back. He has Future Sight here. Petron can still fire off a Malignant Chain, though. No, I'm just going to recover here because I want to stay out of range of the water types. That makes sense. So Crest is going to switch out, and in comes the bundle, finally. I'm just going to quick recover here. With the Future Sight in the air, I am forced out to my Arachnid here. I'm just checking to make sure it's next turn. Yep. I have to go out to Arachnid. He can easily quick Freeze Dry. It's going to hurt, but he shouldn't 2-hit KO me with my Assault Vest. Except the oh wait, no, it does because of the Future Sight attack, duh. So yeah, in comes Arachnid. He's going to just a quick Freeze Dry. It's going to do about 100 damage, so about 30%. And Freeze Dry is going to put me low. I am in range of another Freeze Dry. I can't afford to double. In hindsight, I probably could have doubled into Petron. In fact, I probably should have doubled into Petron so I can preserve his take another Future Sight later. Because based on damage, I know it's not boosting. Petron can easily take this Freeze Dry. But I am just going to sack my Arachnid. So I didn't place Arachnid super well in the end game, which is unfortunate. And now with a bundle quick Freeze Dry, I can just go into my Petron. I am just going to quick Malignant Chain here, I believe. Yeah, I'm just going to Malignant Chain. Bundle is going to switch out into the Cresselia. And there's the point in the game where my speed IVs really suck. Because Malignant Chain would have 2-hit KO'd here. And if I was not, like, if I was just a normal Petron with regular speed EVs, I would have outsped it. I could Malignant Chain and knock it out, which would be really big. I'm down just 2 Malignant Chains, too. So I'm also going to click it. I'm also going to click the Malignant Chain here. I don't have another play, but he is just going to reveal the Lunar Dance. And yeah, that my speed IVs on the Petron was me really overcooking. If I was just a normal spread, I could have outsped this and prevented it from getting off the Lunar Dance. But because of the Lunar Dance, it is going to get in the Keldeo and get it all the way back to the full, which is very scary because my Arachnid is gone. So yeah, definitely the Maya speed IVs were a misprep. I think they made sense in the moment, but realistically, like, Manaba's getting U-turn after a parting shot isn't the end of the world. This Keldeo is going to go from like 5% all the way back to full, which is really terrifying. Now I'm just going to have to quick parting shot. I need to start weakening Sphinx attacks. I know I live 1 from this range. Yeah, I'm slower, so obviously I will take the hit. He is deciding what to lock here, as we know he is specs. He is just going to quick Hydro Pump. He is going to miss, unfortunately, as my Petron is just going to parting shot out. But considering, like, the 7 Malignant Chains not getting poisoned, I don't feel too bad about this one. So we are going to we obviously have to bring in Zoroark. That's our only Pokemon that is still alive, other than Petron. But for some reason I'm going to switch. I don't know why. I don't know why I switched there, because Zoroark Hisui into Keldeo. It should Oko with Terra Blast, right? No. Oh, right. Terra Blast only does 86 to Keldeo, so Keldeo was out of range, and Hydro Pump at -1 somehow still Okos me, which is really annoying, so I do have to switch on my Petron, because -1 Hydro Pump Okos me, and then it'll do enough to patch to put me in range of Bundle. Yeah, so -1 Hydro Pump still into my Zoroark with the specs does a minimum 107%. Although I guess I could have well, no, because Petron Keldeo Hydro Pump into Petron into Iron Bundle will knock me out. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to click on all these buttons. I am not thinking today, but anyway, here's what we meant to do. Yeah, so I am gonna switch out. I can't let Zoroark die to the Hydro Pump here. I bring in Petron. He's gonna hit the Hydro Pump, do a good chunk, but I can recover this off. I'm gonna click it here. He does go out to Bundle, as I'm gonna click recover. And now he's gonna make a really good play and encore me into it. It's aggravating because it's gonna, like, how many times it's gonna basically waste them. And I'll say I only have 5 left. He's gonna recover. I'm gonna force him to recover again. And I can't switch Zoroark. I don't know his thing's item. I could just click a button, so I have to spam recover. Keldeo's gonna come back out here. It can just start wailing on me. I have my last turn of Encore, so I have to click my 6th recover here. Keldeo, I don't know what Keldeo does on this turn. I think it Hydro Pumps, pretty sure. He is going to Hydro Pump, do a ton of damage. I can recover most of it off, though. And now my Encore is over. I believe I have to attack here because I know Parting Shot doesn't do enough because it'll still Oko the Zoroark, so I'm just going to quickly attack. I believe I'm just going to Malignant Chain on this turn. I'm really debating what to click. No, I'm just going to recover again. Okay. He's going to miss the Hydro Pump, so I'm going to get up to full. Second Hydro miss is obviously unfortunate. And now I can just click a Malignant Chain, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm going to fire off I believe I fire off my last Malignant Chain on this turn. Yeah, I do. And somebody knows, look at Glop's timer. It's at 40 minutes, 35 seconds. If this was the right timer, he would be at 35 seconds left to play the rest of this game. Hydro Pump's going to do a ton of damage. Malignant Chain's going to come off. Hit the Keldeo, do about 30. And on the 8th try, I'm finally going to get a poison and a confusion with it. So I got 1 heads out of 8 coin flips, but we'll take it here. It definitely helps out. Now my Petron can just quick recover. Obviously I died a Hydro Pump, but Zoroark can't come in. Keldeo's gonna hit itself, do a bit of chip. I can recover here. That's definitely helpful. We'll take it. Malignant Chain finally paying off. Keldeo continue to take chip. It's just gonna Hydro Pump again, obviously. I'm just gonna Shallow Ball here. It's gonna snap out of confusion on the first try. Well, you can't snap out on turn 1. But it's gonna miss a 3rd Hydro Pump, so it's really unfortunate. For missing 3 out of, like, I think a quick 6 or 7 is real bad. And Shallow Ball will put it in toxic range, so it will go down. It's just Iron Bundle left on his side. In it comes. And obviously it's going to create attack move. I Shallow Ball, does the most damage I can. It's going to quick Ice Beam, do very little. And I'm going to get a Shallow Ball. Another one will knock it out after this, especially with a Spadef drop here, meaning that it's not even a potential roll depending on if he has bulk. That damage reveals modest, and going to take another Ice Beam. It is going to freeze, and my heart stopped. However, Petron's going to immediately fall out and knock out the Iron Bundle with Shallow Ball. And he did reveal to me after the game that the bundle was Modest Scarf, which means that if that freeze stuck, it would be a roll on my Zoroark in his favor to knock out. But I will take home the very close to a win. Bit of hacks, but I think the Hydro Pump misses and the freeze balance. The Hydro Pump misses balance out with the Malignant Chains. Like, realistically, I think the odds for that are pretty similar. So yeah, what a long game. Following up, I think, I'm curious. Let me look at the very end here. How much time did Glop have left at the very end here? I'm curious if we have actually timed out. With the bundle, let's go ahead a little bit. No. Yeah. On this turn here. Yeah, I'm curious, just to see. He has 18 seconds. He would not have timed out. Yeah, he probably would have timed out even if he stuck. So yeah, very close game. I'm very proud of being Glop. Obviously, there was a little bit of hacks involved, but I think on both sides it balanced out. And my prep mostly did what I intended to do. The one thing is the speed IVs on Petron really put me in the back. So definitely not the smartest decision. Because it would have just let me, if I just was faster and could, but we didn't chain that crest, so we couldn't lure dance. I just straight up won the game. The Keldeo was too low. Like I won the game if I was just running a normal spread with 0 speed and a non-minus nature. But that's what it is. Live and learn. But yeah, very nice 2-0 win versus Glop. I'm extremely proud of this win. One of the hardest opponents I've ever taken on. I think I played that early game really well. I think I played most of the game really well. The only thing I did wrong was play the Araquanid in the mid game a little poorly, letting the crest just do whatever it wanted instead of just going hard out to Petron. But other than that, I think I played this game very well, and I'm very happy with it. So that will bring us up to 2-1 plus 3. Next week, we take on Gentleman Thomas, who is also 2-1, so it's sure to be a hype battle. Make sure to come back and check it out. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, everyone. Thank you for checking out the channel. Peace.